reporting for NeighborMedia at CCTV. Today I'm talking to Dave Wood from Coldwell Banker about the changing face of Cambridge in today's real estate market. Thank you and enjoy.
My name is Dave Wood. I'm a realtor. I've been a realtor at Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage in Cambridge on Mass Avenue since 2003. I live in the Agassiz neighborhood. I was born and raised here. Actually, I was born in Boston, but I grew up in Cambridge in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Same neighborhood? Or
same neighborhood, same house.
Agassiz always?
Agassiz always. Same house,
Okay.
family house. My great-grandmother bought the house in 1915, but I've seen a lot of what Cambridge used to be, and you know, I mean, I look at the Cambridge I grew up in, and again, you know, it's extremely different. It's not the Cambridge of my youth. It never will be.
How would you describe the demographic of Cambridge before the end of rent control? Did it have a specific look about it?
It's a very different city. I mean, to put it very succinctly.
Okay.
What you had was not as high an amount as I could tell, not as high an amount of owner occupancy. You know, you had a lot of people who were renting. Okay, many who had rented for a very, very long time. The demographic of Cambridge, I would describe it now as being more of an economic demographic than you know, sort of an ethnic demographic, because people are still coming into Cambridge.
Right, so there's not a specific cluster. Everybody's coming from all over.
Not an apparent cluster that I can see, as you know, as we've seen in the past. I think people are coming from all over. There are many more different kinds of people coming from different places. Right? What I do think is happening demographically is you know, the economics are changing, because if you look at how the housing market is, you have to be in a certain, you know, at a certain level. In order to
Right. So I guess that answers my question in a way. While we had rent control, we had more renters, which meant that we did have a different kind of person. We had.
You did.
We had a lot of art. I know that we had a lot of musicians, artists.
Yeah, I mean, we you know, to be perfectly frank with you, and because I remember these days, I mean, we had a lot of hippies. You know, Cambridge was, I mean, you know, Cambridge Common on a Sunday back in the 60s was quite a different place than it is now. And I don't mean it's better or worse.
Right.
I just mean it's extremely different, because you have, you know, people behave differently when, you know, if you're paying $2 million for a house, you behave towards that property differently than you would if you had only paid, you know, $100,000 for the house.
What's the age range of the demographic that's buying in Cambridge right now?
Well, you see a lot of people who are young, from my perspective, in their 30s, you know, upper 20s and 30s. I don't know which generation that's called these days, because Cambridge is one of the economic drivers of Cambridge is the life sciences sector. Okay. In short, Kendall Square. A lot of them are coming out of the graduate schools here. I mean, one of the reasons Kendall Square has become what it's become is its proximity to the talent coming out of MIT and, you know, various other places. Nowadays, let me just put it this way. Nowadays, you have people who are skewing the age range a little because they may be older and they're downsizing. They're empty nesters. They're coming in from the suburbs. A lot of people coming in saying, oh, well, you know, we went to school at Harvard in the 70s and we thought Cambridge was really cool. And then we moved out to Lexington and we had the kids, we raised the kids, we did the whole thing. The kids are gone. And now, gee, we want to come back in and be able to walk to Harvard Square.
All right, well, let me ask you this. So I lived here in Cambridge in my 30s, and the people that I knew weren't buying houses at that age, you know, late 20s, early 30s. But there are, nowadays, people late 20s, early 30s are buying houses.
There are, but there's also the segment of that population that doesn't want to buy houses, that would like to rent. Because now part of the difference in Cambridge is that I think there are a lot of people who come here and they don't necessarily, and this is a generational thing, they don't necessarily think, well, I'm going to be here at this company for 15 years, you know, or 10 years or whatever. I think in general, because of the economy and a lot of other things, we tend to be a much more transient population. So, you know, I live next to a 6-family building, and it used to be all apartments. And they've been all condos for a very, very long time. So, you know, even though in some ways the population is more transient, you do have more people, it seems, that own, because these apartments that used to be rentals over the years, over the decades, have become places that you can now buy.
Okay, there's an expression in my neighborhood, Wellington, Harrington, for the new owners, and it's called 5-yearers. I keep hearing people say that. Now, in your business, would you say that's accurate? Are you seeing that?
It's, you know, in an appreciating market, 5 years is a good time to sell something that you have purchased. You know, 2 years might not be, 10 years is, you know, that's a long time.
Who's moving out and why nowadays in the market?
I think you're still seeing people who are moving out for more space, and so you get places like Melrose and Malden and you know, where you can get a single-family house for, you know, under, you know, $400,000 or $500,000.
Is there such a thing as a starter home in Cambridge?
Well, I think that's a relative term. I mean, you know, starting at what? It's I mean, when you're talking about the median, or I guess the average price of a condo let's say, at $600,000. Well, I mean,
I was actually kind of kidding when I asked you that.
You can. Can you find a small, like a 1-bedroom for maybe, you know, for $300,000 something? Yeah, you can get a starter condo in Cambridge.
Everybody's paying cash nowadays for property.
There's a lot of people paying cash, but I wouldn't say everyone is. There are a lot of cash transactions.
Does that feel different from when you started in real estate? Has it changed, like, because you started in 2003.
I think I would say there are more cash transactions. You have a lot of international buyers. A lot of international buyers have cash.
That's still a check. It's not, someone doesn't come in with a briefcase.
No, I've never seen anybody, you know, come in with a wheelbarrow full of cash and say, you know, here's my $800,000. No, it's what you do see. You see wire transfers.
What's going on in my neighborhood?
Well, what I can tell you about your neighborhood is that like the rest of Cambridge, it is appreciating. Okay, it is a neighborhood, specifically your neighborhood, because of its proximity to Kendall Square. And all that is going on there, and all that will be going on there for a long time to come. People want to be close to it. People want to be, you know, East Cambridge, Inman Square, Cambridge Street, You look at the restaurants. You look at the businesses that are proliferating there. There's the whole issue with North Point and the Green Line extension from the new Leechmere station up. That's causing, a lot of people are interested in that. The Union Square, the new Green Line going into Union Square. I mean, when you look at Union Square with the proximity to Cambridge Street, it really isn't that far. It's less than a mile. So with all of that happening, and the reason I'm bringing all that up is because the people who are going to be taking the tea from Union Square, the people who are going to be patronizing all these places are going to be living in your neighborhood. Many of them
I can't wait for them.
Okay,
I want to brag a little for the camera.
I wish there was, I wish I had more to brag about. My background is in journalism and politics. In 1988, I was asked to work on in the governor's office, Governor Dukakis's office. He had just announced that he was running for president, so I was involved in the presidential campaign as well.
What happened? Right?
Oh, many things happened. You don't have enough battery power for me to talk about what happened.
It's just
there was the tank.
The tank. Okay.
Yes, that's what everybody remembers about that. That's the
I told you to brag on camera. All right. Well, thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.